Jake holds his beers pretty well, I will say. I don't think I've ever seen you drunk. I've been out drinking with you a handful of nights.
That's a lie.
I don't know that I've ever.
he holds it really well. Where you don't go, Jay's drunk. Jay's been drinking the same as the rest of us. He's just fine.
Yeah, he pulls it together pretty well. The one night in the combine where you somehow managed to scrounge out little bottles of wine at 2:30 from
that was a
room
tough
service.
scene. Yeah, that was good.
Next day, you've had better moments.
I struggled. Yeah.
But you power through, to your credit.
Yeah, I power through. Yeah, I always show up. Like, Keanu Reaves in hardball. Most important thing is showing up. I always show up.
Fantasy Football Happy Hour with Matthew Berry.
Welcome to the Fantasy Football Happy Hour. Connor Rogers, Matthew Berry, and Jay Croucher from Hardball.
That's a ridiculous
that was
graphic.
Good.
Yeah. Also, I saw Keanu Reeves in the flesh on Broadway, the Hudson Theater, on Saturday afternoon in Waiting for Godot, which Waiting for Godot was one of the most famous plays of the 20th century, Samuel Beckett. Waiting for Godot kind of sucks. Yeah. It's not that fun. It's not that interesting. I'm sorry.
I know you like
good review.
Does Godot ever show up?
He doesn't show up, Godot. No,
yeah,
he never shows up.
There we go. We've ruined a play for you as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Covering all our bases.
Yeah, keep waiting.
So you know.
Keep waiting.
You don't have to go see it.
Even Broadway is not safe.
Yeah.
He never shows up. Who'd you see it with?
My wife.
Okay.
Yeah, my wife Sophia. Yeah, we saw Keanu. Keanu is a fascinating kind of character in the zeitgeist because Keanu has a fantastic face, a fantastic voice. He has this kind of whimsy about him. He's really not a great actor.
He's not. And he's universally beloved.
Yes.
Universally
I love Keanu.
beloved.
Beyond
Everyone loves
famous.
Keanu. Everyone loves Keanu, but you can't ever say, like, where he was great.
Yeah.
Like, again, what's weird is
Johnny Mnemonic.
No, exactly. He's been in a bunch of great movies.
Yeah.
Like, The Matrix is amazing.
Continues to get massive roles.
The Matrix is amazing. Like, if you like action movies, John Wick is as good as it gets. If you enjoy that kind of movie,
they kept making them.
I love the John Wick movies. Oh, he's great. And I will tell you, as a kid, when I was a teenager, me and my friends would quote Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure all the time. Like that is to this day. Like, there's a couple of buddies of mine from high school that all we do is just text Bill and Ted quotes.
Well, you should go see Waiting for Godot because Keanu does. It's two characters. It's Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter from Bill and Ted.
Bill and Ted,
so they do it together. They do the play together. So it's quite. It's good to reminisce about that film. But there's no range.
Stuntman Chuck says Reeves' best performance ever is in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
It's actually. I will tell you this. It's actually an underrated movie because everyone thinks it's like a goofy teen comedy, and it's a goofy teen comedy. But like,
I've never seen it.
It's a fun. It's fun structurally. It's well done for what it is. I guess is my point. And I would argue. Just by the way, shout out to my friend Ed Solomon, who is one of the writers of Bill and Ted. My friend Ed Solomon, who's been forever. But I would argue that. Excuse me, Bill and Ted led to Beavis and Butthead and all the sort of like stoner buddy kind of comedies and everything like that. Like
Pineapple Express.
It was the first one.
Harold and Kumar.
All of it, all of those, like all sort of. Bill and Ted was kind of the first one of those. But anyway.
The best Keanu movie, by the way, is Point Break. That's his best performance. Keanu has two modes. He either kind of is like wooden, cool Matrix Keanu, Matrix John Wick, etc., Speed, or he really tries to act. And he can't really do it, but in Point Break, he really gives it a crack.
The last thing I will say is, believe it or not, this is a producer Adam show, not a backup producer Pete show, given the fact we've spent 5 minutes talking about Keanu Reeves.
Scott McClory said Keanu or Mercedes Lewis in the flex this week.
Yeah,
all the greats.
Yeah, it's obviously Keanu.
Well, they're going to give him the same amount of points.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, but we've spent about the same amount of time talking about Keanu Reeves and Mercedes Lewis, neither of which can help your fantasy team. So let's get to waivers.
Let's do it. It is Tuesday. We got waivers for you. Congrats if you still need them in the fantasy football playoffs. Of course, we'll recap Monday Night Football as well. Don't worry. And we got our early week bets on sides and totals in last call. Let's jump right, though, into the quarterbacks for Waiver Wired. And we start with C.J. Stroud, who is 52% available, coming off a strong week where he threw for 3 touchdowns. Actually ran a little bit, too. The yards wasn't there, but the attempts were. And why you might be considering streaming C.J. Stroud, Matthew, is because he plays what is arguably the worst team in football, the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, since week 11, they've allowed the highest passer rating to opposing quarterbacks. A week after Jalen Hurts completely embarrassed himself in Monday Night Football, he looked like Jalen Hurts again, thanks to the Raiders coming to town. Since week 11, they also give up touchdown passes at the second highest rate in the league. C.J. Stroud, I think, has looked good. He was somebody that we mentioned last week on this show as a streamer. He produced last week. And now we are saying, once again, since you did not listen to us, he's still available in over 50% of leagues. We like C.J. Stroud against the Raiders.
Yeah, so we talk about C.J. Stroud every week. Make up your mind, America, whether you want him to reach the threshold of 50% rostered or so. But do you think he can ever start running more and using his legs? I always have it in my mind with Stroud, how he used his legs in that game against Georgia, but we just don't see it.
He can. Like in the perfect world, you'd think younger Dak the way you'd hope he can run, but he just isn't really.
He's not that fast.
He's not slow though. That's what people make mistakes with C.J. Stroud. He's just not overly decisive as a runner. He'd rather keep his eyes downfield.
He's not any slower than Jordan Love.
No, you know right. I mean? That's a similar.
That's a good. Like I feel like
that's the kind of athlete. Like you're looking at that kind of athlete, but he just prefers to be a pocket passer. He's a really good pocket passer. So, no, I think if you're looking at forever more than 20 yards per week, and it's not going to happen.
The only concern in C.J. Stroud, and like this is hilarious. Like I'm just
too
looking
big a
at
lead.
This. No, just 100%. Like so, the line is 37.5 in this one, but the Texans are 14.5-point favorites.
Right.
I mean, which is just the Raiders' offense is so broken and the Texans' defense is so good.
Yeah. So market's saying like 26-11.
That's right.
That's the median outcome for this one. It's not great.
No, exactly. So that's the only question: is there a defensive touchdown, a rushing touchdown, and then C.J. Stroud is a very efficient 14 of 17 for 185 yards because he just doesn't need to do anything.
This one from Hey You in the chat. Stroud or Dart this week lost Mahomes. Oh, tough.
That is a tough one. I'm going to go with Dart this week again. Just sort of Dart is at home against the Vikings, right? And just I think Dart because of the rushing upside that you get. Like I just feel like there's just a floor with Dart. Whereas with Stroud, we like him as a streamer because we like Stroud as a streamer because obviously Dart is rostered in well more than 50% of leagues. But I just sort of feel like, I don't know, Dart's been a top 5 fantasy quarterback, on a points per game basis.
I would go Dart as well because of the rushing, but I did think that was a pretty bad loss for the Giants against the Commanders. That looked like a team that has kind of packed it in for the season, and so they can pack it in, and Dart can still put up fantasy points. But it's a little bit of a concern. I thought they would look better in that game. I thought Dart would look better.
And you had him pulled by the spotter on a play that now it feels like they're really being cautious with him. So
all fair. I actually thought since Dan Quinn has taken over the defense, they've actually played better. They played a lot better. They're still not good, but they gave Denver a run for their money. That was a game they easily could have won. So anyway.
J.J. McCarthy game against the Commanders doesn't look as bad after he torched the Cowboys as well.
Right.
So that looked like, the Commanders are back to being atrocious. But, J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah, speaking of
65% available and the next quarterback on our waiver wire list. He's got those New York Giants who things haven't looked good on the defensive side of the ball, especially for them. He's coming off a 3-touchdown week if you count the rushing, which we do. And we got to hear from J.J. McCarthy this week on his gritty after scoring a touchdown.
I did it in practice, and I was told not to do it. So it's just me, being who I am, it's like, now I'm more enticed to do it. But if it's that open, obviously just get in the end zone no matter what and be coachable and do what my coach says. So, I'll definitely get a minus for that one.
You're okay with that?
Yes and no. Yes and no, yeah.
JJ, what do you think has allowed you to push through all the adversity you've faced this year and not let it break you?
I love what I do. I love playing ball. I realize how blessed I am to be in this position. And most importantly, I love the people I do it with.
Jay, obviously, you have to be in a little bit of desperation mode this deep into the fantasy season and playoffs to start 9. But
can't call him that.
Last 2 weeks, he's been 9. He hasn't been J.J. McCarthy.
That's right.
Right. It's better than being 9-5.
Yeah, I guess so. The good thing, I think, with JJ's outlook is not just he's played the past 2 weeks, it's that I think that they are going to let him fling it a little bit these last few weeks, because what else are you going to do if you're Minnesota? All that matters these final 3 weeks is evaluating J.J. McCarthy, getting him more on the same page with Justin Jefferson. And the thing is that the Justin Jefferson game just has to be coming. He can't keep on going these 2-for-24 type games. JJ's going to connect with him eventually. It's a super favorable matchup against the Giants. The market has upgraded its opinion of JJ. This game looked like it was going to be around pick or so. Now the Vikings are 3-point favorites. There was a lot of steam in the market market towards the Vikings against the Cowboys. So the betting world certainly thinks that JJ has made strides. And to me, Connor, spoke about this yesterday, but he just looked so much more in control.
Right.
He wasn't frazzled. He wasn't rattled. He wasn't doing the crazy JJ McCarthy throws nearly as much. There was still some misses, but he just looked so much more in command.
Saw some more touch throws. We know the kind of athlete he is. I do like that even with his confidence broken, he's not afraid to push the ball down the field because at least it'll keep the defense honest. And the Giants defense, I thought Abdul Carter played really well last week, but outside of that, this is a broken franchise right now.
I've bet against Abdul Carter all year for Defensive Rookie of the Year. He only has like 2 sacks on the season. I watch that guy every play. Like, he is an absolute monster.
He's a menace.
It is insane that he only has 2 sacks on the season. It feels like he's going to get a sack every single play.
Right, but think of also they're not always in scripts that benefit him, and that's kind of hurt the
He's
sack.
also had like 4 called back by penalties.
Right, it's been a bad luck season, and some of his own doing with all the off-the-field issues as well.
Giants have allowed multiple touchdown passes in 6 of the past 8 as well. So it's a nice matchup for JJ for all these things as well. And it does, to your point, feel like the Giants have sort of given up a little bit defensively.
Some desperation options. Tyler Shough against the Jets. Trevor Lawrence could have probably had 12 touchdowns against the Jets if they kept trying to score. So Tyler Shuck's playing really well right now. It's a great spot for him. Marcus Mariota, it is against the Eagles. But once again, they're called desperation options for a reason. Bryce Young and the Bucs basically playing for their division. And then Kirk Cousins against Arizona. I mean,
Kirk v. Jacoby.
Right. That oddly could be a shootout game. Is that not hilarious?
Yeah.
Yeah, the total for that one is it's 47.5.
Right, there you go.
Like, kind of wild, but yeah,
Makes
these
sense.
2 teams both have suspect defenses. Falcons defense is fine, but not afraid of giving up some big numbers. And then the Cardinals defense is just completely banked up. And the thing with the Falcons is that, like, this offense can still move it. Like, it's still Bijan Robinson who leads the entire league in scrimmage yards. Drake London expected back, which makes Kirk Cousins much more appealing. Also, you have Antonio Gates in 2005 at tight end. Like, there's a lot going on for the Falcons now. Good offensive line. But to me, kind of the most compelling one of this group is Tyler Shough.
For me as well.
He is... we spoke about it a little bit. I don't think he's going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year because it's a bit too late, but he's playing as well as any rookie quarterback right now.
He really, I think there's a world where the Saints win out their last 3 games here with the Jets, Titans, and Falcons, and it's really because of how well Shough is playing. He's given a vertical element to their offense. I like his athleticism. He played college football for 7 years because of all the injuries he's had. It just feels like he's healthy and more spry right now.
Love his acting ability as well. I don't think Keanu Reeves could have pulled that off on the slide at the end. It was very well done. And he can move it with his legs.
17 fantasy points in 4 of his past 5 games. Has he exceeded expectations based on what you thought coming into the league?
I think he's been better than I expected. I'm really impressed with Tyler Shough. I've been more impressed with the Saints, and it's not the wins and losses, but their defense is well coached by Brandon Staley. I think Kellen Moore's done a good job with the ingredients he has. This one from GZR. Do we start JJ or Shough? 14-team league, been getting away with Mariota, but I don't like his matchup. I would start Tyler Shough. That's just me. I have more confidence in the floor of Tyler Shough.
The rushing upside, I think he's more likely to run in a touchdown. Also, the matchup, I know the Giants are a pretty favorable matchup. I'm not sure there's any favorable matchup than the Jets, though, at this point.
Right, just fired their defensive coordinator this week.
Trevor Lawrence just lit him up for 6.
Right.
By the way, the Saints are going to win out. They'll be 7-10. They blew these ridiculous games early in the season. I was right all along. This was a playoff team.
Wow,
this team should have won the division.
Should have won the NFC South.
They'd be right in it with the Panthers and Bucs.
Yeah, they should have beaten Arizona. They should have beaten the Niners.
Are they still mathematically alive? Is there still a
think they're
scenario
out.
where they officially out?
They're top out.
Sadly. But there is a world where they finish with one less win than whoever wins the division. Like we could have an 8-9 division winner with a 7-win Saints.
Easy.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
They could have beaten the Bills in Buffalo. That was close at the end.
Right.
What could have been? You should have just started Tyler Shough from the beginning, Kellen Moore.
Right. Well,
we could have done great things.
The funniest thing is that like there's it feels like once every 5 years, there's like an 8-9 team or a 7-8 team that makes the.
It's usually from the
team.
It's usually from the South.
The Bucs did it 2 or 3 years ago.
And
with
Brady. Right,
they were 8-9.
Right, yes, and the Carolina Panthers did it with Ron Rivera.
Sam Bradford did it with like St. Louis or something.
Yeah,
his rookie
and
years.
the Commanders under Ron Rivera also did it once, but that was the Taylor Heineke year, I think. But it feels like that team is always from. Yeah, any year
Alex
that there's
Smith.
a team with a losing record in the playoffs, it's always from the NFC South.
Forgot about the Commanders in the COVID year.
Yeah.
The 2020. I did forget about that one. The 2010 Seahawks were 7-9. The 2014
that
Panthers.
Was I think that year, wasn't that the Marshawn Lynch run, the earthquake run?
Yes, that's right.
They pulled off the upset in the opening round
because everyone was like bitching about them, and then
7-9 team in the playoffs because they were the first team with a losing record, if Google's correct, which it often is, to make the playoffs.
Yeah,
that's right. And then everyone thought, oh, they're going to get killed. And then Marshawn Lynch had that epic, like one of the greatest runs in NFL history.
The Beast Mode Rumble.
The Beast Mode Run. The Beast Mode Rumble.
Just to bring it back to Damar Hamlin quickly. So
we were waiting.
With that 8-8 team or whatever, the Commanders team that got in, so everyone's thinking about Damar Hamlin's like, oh, he didn't play that well out in the field. Alex Smith won the award unanimously because he won the division award. Alex Smith, great story. Should have won the award. The performance aspect, Alex Smith was the worst quarterback in the league.
He looked like bad Phillip Rivers from last week.
Exactly.
I mean, he was out there. Yeah. He was limping around on one leg. He couldn't throw it deep.
It was gallant.
Oh, it was,
it was a great story.
Oh,
that's why he won.
Yeah.
So your thinking was right. No one can ever deny you of that. No. This is the problem with human voters. You trusted human beings with your
we need AI
finances.
taking over these votes. Where's Gemini? It's about to come back
I don't know if we want that either.
Phillip Rivers. Phillip had Seattle lost this weekend. Phillip Rivers.
Oh, it would have been dangerous hours.
Yeah.
Troubling.
Hey, are you back in on the award again?
Yeah, I've got 2 horses. I got McCaffrey, so looking forward to how he goes down. It's a minus 250 favorite now. My long shot, though, is Aiden Hutchinson, who's 35-1 still. If he has a big close, he leads the NFL in pressures. He had the crazy in of Stafford. He's like second in force. I think if Aiden Hutchinson has a big close, he can steal that award. Because everyone remembers how he got
Too bad he got chased down on that interception. That would have really helped you a lot.
That would have helped. Lions need to make the playoffs, I feel like.
Yeah, if they win out and Hutch has a big close, I think he can do it.
Yep.
So right now you've got the curse of Crouch on you, so good luck, Aiden.
Running backs, we start with Blake Corum, still 60% available, which surprises me with how much work he's gotten and probably being the most important insurance back potentially in the sport, Jay. Week 15, 11 carries, 71 rushing yards, and a rushing touchdown. Sean McVay getting both him and Kyren Williams involved, and we got to hear from Corum on how the running back room is played out.
The running back room in general, it starts with, Coach Ron G. He does a phenomenal job at, coaching us, on and off the field. Man, it's amazing. Ronnie, Jarquez, and then, me and Kyren, we have a great relationship. We push each other, to the limits. We want to see each other succeed. I get hyped when he breaks those long runs or runs someone over, or like that one where he bounced it all the way across the field. That gets me hyped, and, vice versa. And so, man, our running back room is special.
The Rams playing a massive division matchup against Seattle this week, Matthew. It's been surprising to see just how much work Corum is consistently getting, and he looks really good, and he's been efficient is the more important part.
He played 46% of the snaps last week. Like, he played only 5 fewer snaps than Kyren Williams, and Kyren Williams is a guy that we really like, but he's also a guy that gets hurt. This is the most shocking player available, just because if I had Kyren Williams, I would want to make sure I had Blake Corum.
You have to.
I mean, unless the answer is like everyone that drafted Kyren Williams didn't make the playoffs, but I find that hard to believe.
No.
You know what I mean? Like,
right,
so it's just
bad.
like, no, but like, he's had 4 rushing touchdowns over the past 3 games. Like, we've talked about him. He is like Tyler Algier West. He is somebody that, gets you double-digit touches in a game with a decent shot at a touchdown. They like him in the red zone. Now, I understand you may not want to use him this week at Seattle, but they're at Atlanta next week. And for those that play in Week 18, they've got Arizona at home. And if the Rams clinch the number 1 spot, which is easy, to see, like, Corum could be like, a Joe McKnight, like a Week 18.
Throwback.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
a
good
Week
call.
18 superstar.
Right.
Because I could see Corum just getting all the work in a game where they rest Kyren Williams because they've clinched the number 1 seed.
Yep.
Yeah, he could also be a championship decider in that Monday night game against Atlanta next week. Now, the Seattle matchup is brutal, and a big thing about why Corum has been valuable is just this offense scores every possession. And if you're going to be sustaining drives, there's just more opportunity to get numbers. But I do think that this game coming up against Atlanta, who cannot stop the run to save their lives, that could be a big play Corum game.
Since week 7, he's gotten 40% of the red zone rush attempts for the Rams, and he's averaging double-digit touches a game. I mean, again, the fact that Kyren Williams is 100% rostered means Blake Corum needs to be 100% rostered. I can't believe we're having this conversation.
Raise the flags.
Yep.
Corum or Judkins, half-point PPR.
I still think it's Judkins because of the workload, but I'm so sick of Judkins.
Buffalo. They're playing Buffalo.
Right.
You can run on Buffalo.
Yeah, I'm just so sick of Judkins.
I know.
It's not his fault, but every week it's like, oh, check the box here. Oh, Quinshon Judkins has 17 carries and he's at 35 rushing yards.
Right,
He faces stacked boxes constantly.
I don't know that it's his fault. I still believe in Judkins' talent.
Me too.
Yeah,
I think
sure.
Judkins will be fine. It's just a bad situation.
Yeah.
Our next one is Michael Carter. He's 95% available in Week 15. 14 carries for 56 yards.
Guys figure this one out.
Caught 4 passes for 38 yards. One note, Emari Demercado, 90% available. Jay, it's tough times if you have to try to rely on the roulette of this backfield every week.
Yeah, so we have one element of clarity, and the Bam Knight very unlikely to play. So now we're playing the Michael Carter Emari Demercado game, which is a game where everyone loses. No one wins this game. But
America loses,
no one's seen Trey Benson in years, by the way.
Yeah, it's like playing Jumanji, and then you end up in the jungle, and then you hope to come back 30 years later. But I think that Michael Carter is the running back that you want of these two because of the workload last week. You just don't feel great about it.
Since Bam Knight's injury, he played 81% of the snaps. He's had 4 games with double-digit touches this year. He's averaging almost 13 fantasy points per game. And so Demercado does have some upside there, but I suspect that if you are desperate enough to want to start an Arizona running back, we think Michael Carter would be the answer to that unfortunate question.
All right, keeping it moving here, guys. Jacory Croskey-Merritt, 52% available. He's coming off a week, obviously, with no Chris Rodriguez. 18 carries, 96 rushing yards. Just when we were out on Bill, Matthew.
He looked good.
He reappears, and he looks good, and now he kind of runs into the Philadelphia Eagles, though.
But you can run on Philadelphia. That's the thing, is that you can run on Philadelphia, and we'll get into it in a second, but Marcus Mariota is going to start for the Commanders this Sunday and for the rest of the season. And so, the offense is working fine on Mariota. He's been fine.
Jayden Daniels didn't have a great year. Mariota's worse than Daniels, but it's not like a massive drop-off like it would have been the year before.
1,000%. 3 of the past 4 games, the Eagles have given up at least 125 rushing yards. Cliff still calls a good game. The mobility of Mariota opens up some running lanes for. So I do think, assuming Chris Rodriguez is out, and we don't know that yet. He was inactive last week with a groin, and he went all the way up to game time, right? He wanted to test it out pregame, and then ultimately he was a scratch. So I think there's a decent chance that C-Rod is back. But on the chance that he is not, I do think Jacory Croskey-Merritt, who had 18 touches last week, suddenly becomes interesting in a flex way against the Eagles, because I don't think they're going to want to throw against Philadelphia. I do think they're going to try to run as long as they can keep it somewhat close.
Welcome back, Audric Estime, to Waiver Wire.
And the last thing, before we move off the Commanders, I just want to say, so it is official. They've officially announced that they are shutting down Jayden Daniels for the year, Jay Croucher. I was right. I was vindicated. This is what they should have done the entire time.
Delayed vindication.
I was
he had to get hurt a second time.
I know. This is what I was saying. Don't put him out there because he's going to get hurt again. And everyone was like, oh, he's an NFL player. He should play. I'm like, the team is not there. The offensive line is not where you want it to be. Yeah. Why are you going to risk injury to a guy like?
You should give the same speech to Zach Taylor and the Bengals.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. Joe Burrow's going to play, but I think it's different. The only thing I can think of is that it is somewhat different in the sense that Jayden Daniels is still very young in his career, and this is a weird one for me, but I'm just curious. Do you think? I think this. But I'm a Commanders fan. I'm a Washington fan since I was 5 years old. Do you think that a lot of the narrative around Jayden Daniels is entirely because of Robert Griffin III, of RG3? RG3, Washington was in the quarterback desert for a long time. Here comes RG3, an electric rookie year.
Insane rookie year.
He wins Offensive Rookie of the Year. He leads Washington to the playoffs in the first time in forever. Suffers an ACL tear. Right? Just has a bad injury, and just was never the same, right? And now there's a lot of different theories on that. Some of it was like RG3 desperately wanted to be a pocket passer, and Mike Shanahan wanted to be, to use his legs more, and there was arguments about, his work habits, and did he do too many commercials after that rookie year, blah, blah, blah. Who knows? But he was never the same and he was, Heisman Trophy winner who was electric in that rookie year. And so now you get Jayden Daniels, who, again, mobile quarterback, electric rookie year.
Slender guy,
right, that uses his legs, And so I think I will tell you, for talking from people inside the organization, they're like, Jayden Daniels is night and day from Robert Griffin.
I was going to say, I don't like that because Jayden Daniels is such a better processor and pocket passer.
Yes.
He runs because he can.
Yes.
And it's not to take away from RG3. He was one of the most dynamic athletes we've ever seen on an NFL field when you look at his track background. But Kyle Shanahan built that offense where it was the running opened up so much of the pass. I don't think you need to do that for Jayden Daniels. I think he's great in the pocket.
Do you think he took a step back this year? Because coming into the season, I would have said Jayden Daniels looked like the 5th best quarterback in football after Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, and Burrow. And then now, I mean, he had an uneven season when he was out there, but it was uneven because he wasn't out there a lot, perhaps.
You're working with a small sample size.
McLaurin was hurt. You know, I mean, like, there are a lot of things that just weren't there for him. But I agree with you. Like, you feel going into next year, you feel less good about Jayden Daniels than you did at the start of this year. And so but I just wonder if the caution around Daniels from the organization and from like people like me, whatever, I'm just a stupid fan, yelling, but is because of we have this RG3.
Play into it somewhat.
You know, like PTSD kind of built into it. Yeah, I think so. I don't. I think it's a ridiculous comp to make. Footballer, talk about a gallant effort. Barry playing through the illness for the people, for the people.
Yeah, because Barry was at the Jags bar on the weekends watching
drinking the
Jags
teal
Jets.
juice.
Yeah, you can't go to that place without contracting a disease.
The truth is, I think you're footballer, and I would always fight through the illness. The problem is that I actually don't feel sick. Like my throat doesn't hurt, my nose isn't stuffy. It's just my voice is shot because I've just been talking a ton for the last 2 weeks. So, you know, maybe, I don't know, now I'm going to say it now. All of a sudden
famous last words.
Right, exactly. But yeah, I mean,
well, you should just start breathing on Connor to kind of figure it out.
Just be you sitting here by yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I regret
Wednesday show.
I regret us making out before the show.
Yeah,
that was
a bad move.
I apologize. Yeah,
I'll be here with Lawrence tomorrow. All right, our next backfield here, guys. The Saints with Devin Neal leaving this game.
It's going to be
Jayden Daniels is not playing. Audric Estime,
yes,
99% available. Welcome back, Audric Estime to waivers. We're happy to see you. I'm happy to see you.
Poster boy of NFL Draft Exchange.
Yes,
right?
that's right. He is the face of the show forever. They play the Jets. Jets aren't very good on defense, amongst many things. He only had 3 carries last week. He did catch 3 passes, which is bizarre because that's not really what you think of with Audric Estime. Evan Hull played a little bit. Has bounced around the league for a while. I mean, to me, if Devin Neal's not healthy, Matthew, I would think it would be Estime that becomes the guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little risky to start this guy, but it is like sometimes these are desperate times, and so for deeper leagues, you know, it's interesting. Hands up if you knew Audric Estime was even on the Saints, right? I mean, like,
I thought that. What happened to Cam Akers? Cam Akers was on the team.
I thought it was on the Broncos practice squad. Anyway, so but Audric Estime get an opportunity. Yeah, we know Kamara's not coming back. Devin Neal left this game with an injury, and so you prefer Estime to Evan Hull if you are banking on a Saints running back this week. Ran twice as many routes as Evan Hull, so they're using him on third down, and so given the fact that we think they will be passing somewhat, you could do worse than Audric Estime.
7-10, loading. Saints going to have a better record than the Kansas City Chiefs this year.
Man, the Saints could win 6 of their last 8. That's amazing.
It's like it's. Remember when Kyle Shanahan won his final 6 games or whatever? I think it was his rookie year, his first year coaching. The Niners, everyone was just like, "What's going on? What's going on?"
Yeah. No, they traded for Jimmy G. What a sentence, by the way. You prefer Estime to Evan Hull. It's just terrifying.
It's funny when you go back and look at your rankings. I had Evan Hull in 2023 as RB19, 1 spot in front of RB20 Chris Rodriguez Jr.
Yeah,
that was a miss. That's when you miss. Chris Rodriguez is a much better player than Evan Hull. But it's just funny when you go back into the Rolodex and you're like, what? So here we are.
But the other thing is, we're all over the place today. But you know, the thing is, I just want to say this about what Connor, what you do, and what all the people that study the draft and do these rankings are. So much that you can't predict in terms of scheme, coaching, offensive environment.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about this on the Football Night in America pod around Patrick Mahomes, and we were talking about, you know, and what goes with. It was a whole conversation around the Chiefs, right? In terms of like, well, does Kelsey retire? Andy Reid's like 70. Does he, you know, what happens? Like, how long does it take Mahomes to get back? So we had this whole football discussion about the Chiefs. Fine. But what I just said is, we were just talking about Andy Reid and Mahomes, and I said, listen, I'm a big, you know, Patrick Mahomes, you know, one of the great quarterbacks of all time, first ballot Hall of Famer if he does nothing else for the rest of his career. And my argument is that Patrick Mahomes if he goes to any other team. If he doesn't go to Andy Reid, I think he's still probably brilliant, but I don't think he's Patrick Mahomes, capital letters, 3 Super Bowls, face of the NFL.
The run they had. Yeah.
The run they had, because that's Andy Reid. And I'm like, and so if Andy Reid decided to retire, that's a huge loss for the Chiefs and everything like that. And the last thing I said is, like, the Andy Reid argument isn't Patrick Mahomes, by the way. The Andy Reid argument, who I also think is a first ballot Hall of Famer, the Andy Reid argument is Kevin Kolb, is Mike Kafka, is Jeff Garcia, is the fact that he was able to get production out of these quarterbacks that, candidly, were never good anywhere else.
Right. Alex Smith was like a fringe top 6-7 quarterback.
Went to the playoffs.
Went to the with Andy Reid. And so that's my point. It's like, but so Patrick Mahomes going anywhere else, I think, is probably a good quarterback, but not,
what they built.
What they built.
Special. It was special.
Yeah, I mean, Peyton Manning was always going to be great, but Peyton Manning benefited from the fact that he went to the Colts and had Tom Moore for 18 years. Like, he was in the same
supporting
system
cast
for 18 years. And he had Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne. And, like, that's
what made what Jayden Daniels did last year so impressive, because it's not like it was the most amazing context in the world. It was okay, but the O-line was bad, and he had Terry McLaurin and nothing else, really.
He's going to get Cliff Kingsbury another head coaching job with the year he had.
It's unbelievable, right? But, like Bo Nix. Bo Nix goes to any other team.
Sean Payton fit to a T.
Right?
Right. And we've seen the highs and lows of that already.
Right. And so my point is like when you sit here like, wow, I had Evan Hull over Chris Rodriguez. Like, it's all a lot of it in terms of what team do they go to, and does that team, that coaching staff, that offensive or defensive environment fit what that player does well.
That's all right. Connor had a bad miss on Evan Hull.
I know.
To the rest of us.
I apologize to the public. RB19 should have been RB20. Top running back targets here, guys. The deeper league ads. Jawhar Jordan, of course, this is all dependent on the status of Woody Marks and Nick Chubb, and kind of could be very well be a one-off week. Jaleel McLaughlin and Tyler Beatty, both against Jacksonville's the best run defense in football, by the way.
Yeah.
So you're desperate times there.
Super desperate. R.J. Harvey left the fourth quarter with a rib injury. So just again, it is that, it is week 16. Teams are beat up, and so you might be scrapping through the waiver wire to find somebody with a pulse. But I think the most important thing is just like a lot of these guys are getting an opportunity because of injuries, whether it's to R.J. Harvey or Woody Marks or Devin Neal, which brings us to the fact that you need insurance running backs.
You absolutely do.
Just don't go to the waiver wire trying to beat out somebody else to grab your guy. It's why we talk up Blake Corum so much, and then you sit here and go, all right, Kyle Algier behind, Bijan, obviously. Chris McCaffrey's back up with Brian Robinson. Sean Tucker in case anything happens to Bucket Irving. Devin Singletary with Tyrone Tracy. On and on and on.
That's absolutely right. And we've seen with Devon Achane when he leaves the game, 2 weeks ago. It's Jaylen Wright. So, yeah, at this point in the season, you need to have your workhorse running backs insured.
I picked up Malik Davis last week. I don't have Javonte Williams, but then Javonte Williams left the Sunday night game with a shoulder injury. And I was just like, do I have the starting Cowboys running back this week? And then Javonte Williams came back.
Yep.
But Malik Davis, we think that if something were to happen to Javonte, if during the week that shoulder injury acts up again.
Wow, it seems like you're putting that out in the air with an evil grin on your face.
I'm kind of hoping.
What's wrong with you?
Stop killing people off.
What's wrong with me? How long do you have?
Waiver wire wide receivers. Jayden Reed, 59% available.
Happened to Javonte long term.
Just a little cranky shoulder.
I just feel like, listen.
A little stiff shoulder.
Yeah, the Cowboys were eliminated. Like, just, hey, let's take time to get healed.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian
For a player
Schottenheimer,
not under contract with us
Brian
next
year. Let's see what Malik Davis has. Come on.
Jayden Reed tops our wide receivers list. He's 59% available. So obvious there's a Christian Watson injury factor here. He left the game with what's being deemed as a chest injury. He did fly home with the team, which is a good sign. But the targets have been there, Jay, since Jayden Reed came back, and there was really no time to waste getting him reacclimated into this offense.
Yeah, he looks very much like Jayden Reed. As we look at the most touchdowns allowed to slot wide receivers, well, look at that, Chicago Bears, number 1, and they play Jayden Reed,
Fancy
who loves
that.
to play in the slot. I think if Christian Watson can't go, I'd say that's the likeliest expectation here. It's not a great room to choose from in terms of fantasy choices because it is so evenly distributed, but I think Jayden Reed is the Packers pass catcher that you most want.
Yeah, with that?
I am. I completely agree. Again, we've talked about this yesterday when Christian Watson got hurt. I think that if you are picking a Packers wide receiver, we like Jayden Reed. We think it's the most stable role. We think he's the best player, I think, as well. And it's a decent matchup against Chicago, who have allowed the most touchdowns to the slot.
Yeah.
Packers wide receivers in Week 16.
Oh, man.
A little dicey.
You get the old 2 for 14 yards.
Yeah, but it's just, that's the territory we're in. We don't feel great about any of these guys, to be honest with you.
Massive game, by the way.
Oh, massive. Saturday night.
Yeah, Bears. Oh,
this is a great
epic.
week. This is a great weekend. I mean, Seattle, LA on Thursday night.
That's the game of the season.
That's an unbelievable game. And then you mentioned Green Bay, Chicago. That's an incredible game
Pats,
as
Ravens
well.
on Sunday Night Football.
Pats, Ravens. That's a huge game. Honestly, Niners, Colts on Monday night is really interesting now.
Yep.
Because Niners definitely need to keep pace, and Colts, that's their season as well.
Yep. Saints-Jets.
Yes.
No, sorry,
yeah.
Yes,
Locked in.
Locked in.
Big screen.
Wow. Jets battling for the number 1 pick.
We need a huge loss.
Who would have thought the 1 seed might come down to the winner of this Jags-Broncos game? There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going
2
on.
weeks from now, we get Giants-Raiders toilet bowl.
Yeah.
There's something for everyone right now. All right, Luther Burden's our next wide receiver.
You're a New York insider. What do you think? Do the Giants win that game? I feel like they do. I feel like
yes,
they screw that
the
up.
Giants definitely win that game. The Raiders will be picking number 1, and they will be taking Fernando Mendoza.
Yeah, I know. I was so I was watching the Commanders game, and I was watching with backup producer Pete, who's a crazy Giants fan.
Right. Where's his heart at these days?
He was rooting for the Giants to win. And I was rooting for the Giants to win.
Well, it's perfect. You guys had a great time
Pete
together.
And I, for once, were on the same page.
First time ever.
Because he's just like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "We're not going anywhere. I want the better draft pick."
Yeah.
I am full on. We should be losing. And Pete was like, "No, I want to win every game."
It's the Sam Presti Oklahoma City model.
Yeah.
Cheer for losses when you're not in it.
Luther Burden, 83% available. Rome Odunze obviously was not able to go. Gave it a try in warm-ups and was ruled out. Luther Burden a little banged up coming out of this game, so that's important to note here. This is from Courtney Cronin, though, who does a great job covering the Bears. Ben Johnson said all options are on the table regarding Rome Odunze's foot injury and whether the team will shut him down for a stretch of time to get him healthy, ready for a potential playoff run. Johnson also said there may be a case that we need to protect him from himself. So that's going to be – we'll see if Rome Odunze ultimately can play through this or not. And if he can't, Jay, Luther Burden becomes a big deal in this matchup. And the Packers secondary, they haven't been great, honestly. They play a lot of zone. It's probably one of the more weaker parts of a strong team.
Yeah.
No, Micah Parsons is going to hurt the pass rush.
I think Parsons covered up for a lot of sins in that secondary because now it's like Lucas Van Ness still ramping up off injury, Rashawn Gary, who is not really at the level that he was a couple of years ago. So, the issue is that the Bears just don't throw the ball a great deal, and they were able to run the ball somewhat effectively on the Packers, particularly in the second half in that matchup a week ago. But of the Bears' pass catchers, like DJ Moore, despite having the good game, he didn't get a ton of volume. He only got 5 targets. Luther Burden, I think, he got more targets than him last week, and I think projects just as well as DJ Moore now, if not better.
7 targets last week, 26% target share, and so if Rome Odunze's out, Luther Burden, who we like talent-wise, becomes pretty interesting.
Deeper league targets, Adonai Mitchell, he's got the Saints. He's still getting a high target share for the Jets right now in that offense. And I don't think Garrett Wilson is coming back this year. We'll see, but that would make a lot of sense. Jalen Coker against the Bucks. He's 95% available. And then
Coke had tonight, back-to-back games with at least 20% target share and 60 yards. We've talked about that game might be a sneaky shootout. And how about Darius Slayton against the Vikings? 28% target share last week for him.
For tight ends, Dalton Schultz tops our list here, just 51% available. Target monster, Dalton Schultz.
The new Hunter Henry. Every week we talk about Dalton Schultz.
Maybe more reliable.
More reliable, but still as available. People won't pick him up. I don't know. Since week 5, he's the 9th best tight end in fantasy football. I get it. It's not sexy. There's not any big plays. It's just all volume driven. But in week 15, he had a 35% target share. He's had at least 8 targets in 6 of the last 9. Dalton Schultz against the Raiders this week. I think he's a locked-in top 10 guy. How about Colby Parkinson, my desperation play from Fantasy Football pregame last week, guys? He looked good against, and Seattle actually. Seattle is not good against tight ends. One of the few weaknesses of the Seahawks defense is their defense of the tight end. They allow the most receptions and receiving yards to tight ends other than Cincinnati. Cincinnati's by far the worst. But after Cincinnati, Seattle allows the most. So Colby Parkinson, I think, is pretty interesting this week, especially if Devontae Adams can't go.
Seeming very unlikely
Yeah.
with Devontae Adams' hamstring injury. That would be a big boost for Parkinson. And then Colston Loveland here, Jay, 60% available, much more consistently involved in the Bears' pass game now.
Yeah, it's encouraging that he got 5 targets, 4 for 63 in a game that the Bears won 31-3. You're not expecting that type of script against the Packers, where the Packers, they are favored in Chicago, if only by 1.5 points. So Colston Loveland, seemingly turned the corner. He's finishing stronger than Tyler Warren, who is much compared to in the draft process. I think that's Tyler Warren's fault. But Colston Loveland, certainly a very viable option.
All right, some deeper league targets. How about Darren Waller? Guys, when Darren Waller plays, he's effective, and the Bengals have been horrific against tight ends, Matthew. So maybe another big Waller week.
Yeah, we'll talk about him a little bit more in the next segment when we get into Monday Night Football, but Bengals have allowed 6 more touchdowns to tight ends than any other team in the NFL. 6 more. Like, that's a massive amount. Theo Johnson always seems to do something out there. Double-digit fantasy points in 6 of the 9 games he's played with Jackson Dart under center. And how about Gunnar Helm, who we've talked about on this show over the course of the year a little bit. Love him in Dynasty. I know the Titans are very excited about Gunnar Helm, but he's had at least 4 receptions in 4 of the past 5. So if you're deep league, sort of desperate, I need a guy that's got a shot at 4 for 40, a chance at falling into the end zone, Gunnar Helm's your guy.
If you need a defense, how about the Saints against the Jets? Could be another Brady Cook week. The Vikings against the Giants. Brian Flores is coaching his ass off again, despite, the Vikings having a tough season. The Cowboys against the Chargers. The Chargers have no one there to pass protect, so Justin Herbert's been getting hit a lot. And then the Bucs against the Panthers. Todd Bowles, we heard a very angry Todd Bowles. Needs to carry over in the big division matchup if you're streaming the Bucs defense. We're taking our first break. When we're back, we'll debate how confident we are starting a Steelers running back in the playoffs. The question is, which one, if any, right after this.
Kept the momentum going. A lot of guys made plays today. I would like to get some more opportunities for, obviously for DK, but Kenny had a fantastic game, 26 combined yards. Pat had some nice plays. Marquez had a touchdown. That was awesome.
That was Aaron Rodgers after the Steelers' comfortable Monday night win against the Dolphins out there in the cold. Darren Waller, though, tops the fantasy list at 25.6 points. But in this one, guys, it's about the running backs. And Jaylen Warren managers, you drink for free because
that was brutal.
You've been through a lot this year.
That was brutal. Like, I had a friend, shout out to my friend Kip Levin, who was telling me, like, he was down 8, and he had to decide between Kenneth Gainwell or Jaylen Warren, and the other guy had like Waddle. And he's just like, what am I going to do? And so we just talked about it, and I said, I think you should go with Jaylen Warren, just because I think he's got the better chance at a touchdown. And he gets 2 goal-to-go carry, rush attempts.
He just gets smashed
at the one.
Yeah.
So there were 2 rushing touchdowns for the Steelers, but it wasn't even Kenneth Gainwell. It was 2 different tight ends. I mean, Jonnu Smith and Hayward.
Connor Hayward.
Connor Hayward gets the tush push. And so, I mean, I tweeted this out. And then you've got Marquez Valdes-Scantling, who, hands up if you knew he was on Pittsburgh these days. The 3 most random, useless touchdowns in fantasy football history, especially given the fact that this was a playoff week. This game was Arthur Smith's masterpiece.
Picasso.
Chef's kiss.
Well, it's his second masterpiece because he had 4 tight ends score against the Bengals in prime time last time the Steelers were
Yes, that's true. But at least some people out there might have Freiermuth, I guess. Like he had Jonnu Smith on a sweep. You know what I mean?
Literally positioned as a running back, and they tossed it to him. And he looked great.
By the way, he did.
He looked explosive.
He looked explosive and eased right in. But just my point is like, if you have Jaylen Warren, you're like, I got to deal with Kenneth Gainwell now, and so Gainwell's getting a lot of run. We'll talk about that in a second. But then you get in close and well, at least he's a bigger back than Gainwell. They'll give it to, and he does. He gets 2 opportunities, but they don't block for him. He can't get in, and then Connor Hayward gets in, and then later on they've got a gimme, and they let Jonnu Smith do it instead of Jaylen Warren. So just absolutely brutal there. 7.8 fantasy points for Jaylen Warren, 12 for 33. 3 for 15 in the receiving, but could have been a much bigger day. Kip did end up winning by half a point, though. So shout out to my buddy Kip. Glad he was able to pull that one through. Jaylen Warren now, guys, has been under 13 fantasy points in 5 of the past 6. He's averaged just 3.1 yards per carry over the last month. And it's so weird to me, Connor, because I actually really like Jaylen Warren as a talent.
He's awesome.
But as a running back talent, just hasn't translated into fantasy points anytime in the near future. As for the week, he's running back 38.
Right. You deal with injuries sometimes with Jaylen Warren being banged up, and then when he's a go, you need him to catch 5 passes in space and make people miss. And when he catches 3 for 15, you're not going to make up for it on the ground. The
reason why Gainwell is so compelling, this Steelers offense is just so strange because they have a quarterback. Aaron Rodgers can still whip it.
Yes,
he had this one ball over the middle to DK Metcalf, where it was like, oh, that's old Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers threw the ball 65 yards in the air on the Hail Mary against the Bengals.
Right.
He's still got an absolute cannon. He just doesn't want to get hit, and he can't throw off platform anymore. And so everything is it's a go ball or it's a dump off. And that's basically what he's doing now. And so it's a very strange offense, but Gainwell plays more into that. My other point, why is Aaron Rodgers in on the tush-push plays? What is the possible
point
of him being there? Why isn't that a tight end pushing the pile? I have no idea what the point of him being out there, because they ran it 4 times last night. He's just standing there. And how is that the optimal usage, Arthur Smith?
He's probably I'm not coming off the field.
That's literally it. He's like, I can't be bothered running on and off the field, so we're going to cost ourselves a chance of converting.
That's the only thing I can think of. Otherwise, logistically, it makes
one of the strangest things I've ever seen.
That or they feel like it's some sort of decoy.
You can have a counter, but they're not going to run a counter.
Pitch it back to him.
Pitch it back or whatever.
That would be hilarious to watch.
I don't know.
Good luck figuring out the Arthur Smith, Aaron Rodgers experience. This one from Stuntman Shough, who's always got the good stuff in the chat. If someone told Arthur Smith that Warren was a tight end, would he get more?
Tell him that his first name's Tyler.
Yeah,
you got Tyler in your team.
The answer is yes, Stuntman Shough. Yes, he would.
Kenneth Gainwell, though, since Week 11 is the 8th best running back in fantasy football. He's had at least 16 fantasy points in 4 of the last 5 games. During that stretch, playing over 52% of the snaps. It's just you know what I mean? Look, we talked about it in the preseason. The Steelers are going to use, and Arthur Smith's going to use Kenneth Gainwell a lot more than you think he is. It's interesting because, so I give out this advice, but I follow my own advice. I have a ton of Kenneth Gainwell this year, and especially in best ball.
Oh man, living good.
I'm in a flex. It's called Flex Fantasy League of Experts. Jake Seeley runs it, and it's so it's a bunch of different fantasy experts that are in this best ball league, and I'm in first place in it, and because Kenneth Gainwell is one of the reasons why
he's the cog to your team.
It's done well. I have Josh Allen and stuff like that, but I'm just saying of the way you win those best ball leagues is that if you need one of those. You have guys that pop, late. And Kenneth Gainwell just always winds up in my lineup because he's always one of my better players. I'm in first place in that league. And so I have a couple of best ball leagues where I have Kenneth Gainwell and I'm in first place. Anyway, it's sort of insane.
Nozazaki said, Arthur Smith is an offensive genius. Could you imagine Mercedes Lewis in this offense?
It's a great point. Let's talk about this. And how about, and we'll see, he's going to get Adam Thielen going. I just know it.
Yeah, that's coming.
Yeah. Adam Thielen
was
big
wide
block
open
on the Jonnu Smith touchdown.
He's always out there.
He was wide open on a seam route up the middle. Rogers looked at him. He's like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. He literally was like, no, I'm not going to do it.
On the other side, guys.
Next week, we will have Gainwell ranked ahead of Jaylen Warren, though, just to wrap up that,
Can you continue to start Jaylen Waddle when Tua plays this time of year? Because, God, is it ugly.
I think you have to because he's playing the Bengals and then he's playing the Bucs. And it's going to be in Miami. Both the games.
That's the only hope. That's the only hope.
And then, look, it's by week 18, you probably don't want him as much against the Patriots if you're playing that deep. But home to Cincinnati, home to the Bucs, two very poor pass defenses at the moment. I think you feel fine starting Jaylen Waddle.
Doesn't have a game with more than 52 receiving yards since week 10. He's been single-digit fantasy points in 3 of the past 4. I agree with you. You probably have to start him. The one note I will make is DJ Turner for the Bengals has had a great year, and he's actually done a pretty good job of shutting down number 1 wide receivers.
Yeah.
If you look at sort of the numbers, it's one of the reasons why tight ends do so well against the Bengals is that number 1 wide receivers, they sort of go away from DJ Turner. So now Waddle can play in the slot and like they figure out different ways. Like McDaniels is as good as anyone in the game in terms of getting guys in space and moving them around and creating mismatches. So,
but only he can do so much.
I mean, dude. So, Waddle is somebody that is, you would have thought, a locked-in, a no-brainer wide receiver 1 against the Bengals, and I think he's a little bit lower.
Christopher Long, do Tua's hands shrink when he's cold?
It shrinks. George Costanza went over this 25 years ago. It's unbelievable. He's now 0-6 in games under. It feels like for 40 degrees. It feels like none of those have been close either. He just doesn't look like he's having fun.
He didn't play well.
He hasn't played well in 3 years.
It's been tough. You know what I mean? I'm nice. I've met him before. Super nice guy. Root for him. But he hasn't played well.
They're calling him the Shrinkler in the chat.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. I mean, he was missing guys last night. He just and some of even on the touchdown were people had to jump up high. People were making good catches to come down with the balls. It was a
They need some
game.
competition for him next year, I think.
All right, we're taking our last break.
Oh, they've got competition, Mr. Zach Wilson.
We got our early line alert
terrorizing the
for last call after this.
Miami-Dade.
Oh man. DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL, and new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download the app and use promo code FFHH when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook.
Oh, the crown is yours.
The crown is yours.
Crown is yours. It's time for last call. Early line alert as we do every single Tuesday, looking at the sides and totals to open the week. Jay, what are you on this week?
On the fighting New Orleans Saints, Tyler Shoughe's play -4.5 against the Jets. The analysis here is that the Saints are a real team and the Jets are not a real team. And that's basically it. I think the Saints playing very well. Defense has lifted immensely. Shough playing extremely well relative to expectations. So I think they'll win by 5 or more.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off of that. I'm tailing your bet. I'm with you. I think the Saints cover this. The Jets are, besides Brandon Stevens, they're out of corners. Yeah. They traded Sauce. Their other 2 corners, Azareye'h Thomas and Jarvis Brownlee, are both on IR. Yeah. They don't rush the passer. The linebacker plays awful. I think the Saints will easily score 25-plus points in this game and cover.
Yeah. I like that call. I'm taking an over with another New York team. I'm giving me the over 44.5, Vikings at Giants. 2 pretty good offenses. Again, J.J. McCarthy has looked a lot better. Jackson Dart, we know he can move the ball here. I'm not worried about the Giants' defense at all. And I think the Vikings' defense on the road as well. They'll take chances with the blitzing, but again, I think 44.5 feels like a low number. I'll give you one other I'll give you a bonus one. Chiefs-Titans, 37.5. That feels too low. I think the market is – I get it that Mahomes is out, but Minshew is a professional quarterback who started a number of games, he'll have a full week. Like, it's Tennessee, so give me the over 37.5 there. Closing time, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. For Jay and Connor, I'm Matthew. Good luck with Waiver tonight. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.